Welcome to Monday Morning Quarterback, a weekly feature of Cannon Church. I'm Tim Emmett, the senior pastor at Cannon, and on Monday mornings we connect the message from Sunday, the game of football, and the week ahead. In the fall of 1907, early in the fall, a young, skinny man stepped onto the football field at Carlisle Indian School in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. He'd never played football before. The uniform he was wearing was borrowed. It was beat up and it was too small for him, but there he was. Pop Warner, the Pop Warner, legendary football coach, was the head coach at Carlisle Indian School. He looked at the young man, skinny, borrowed uniform, and said, "What are you doing here?" "I want to play football." "No," said Warner. "You're my track star." Pop Warner was also the track coach at Carlisle Indian School. "You're my track star. You're not playing football." "I want to play football," said the young man. "No," said Coach Warner. "You're too skinny. You'll get hurt." "I won't get hurt. No one will tackle me. I'm playing football." Warner could see that the young man was determined, so he decided to teach him a lesson. Put his defense on the field on the 20-yard line, gave the football to the young man, had him stand on the goal line and said, "All right, you'll be their tackling dummy. You'll give them some tackling practice. You do the best you can to get past them. You probably won't." The young man took the football and started running. The defenders converged on him. He dodged, he faked, he jumped over some who came in low, and then he sprinted the rest of the field untouched, nowhere near tackled by any of those defenders. Carlisle was one of the best teams in the country, but they hardly laid a hand on him. Warner was furious, yelled at his players, "What are you doing? You need to step it up. You need to get mean out there. This isn't track, this is football." He needs to know what he's in for. Hit, hit, hit. Gave the football back to the young man. Same thing, on the goal line, defenders on the 20, he started running. This time, in addition to jumping over them, faking them out, he also stiff-armed a couple and then ran over a few more. Sprinted the rest of the field. It was an awesome, overwhelming display of speed, agility, and power that Pop Warner had never seen and would never see. That young man with the football in his hands was Jim Thorpe, one of the greatest athletes in history. Certainly one of the greatest athletes in the history of this country, and one of the greatest football players as well. Pop Warner learned that day that his track star was also a football star. He had no idea he could do what he did on that field that day. You know, how many people outside the church, but how many people inside the church know that Jesus is really good at giving us life after death? He's really good at giving us hope and faith in the presence of death, but how many don't know that he's got this whole other skill set that he can give us life right here, right now? How many know that Jesus did not just come to get us into heaven, he came to get heaven into us and onto the earth? When Jesus talks about eternal life, he's not just talking about life after death. He's really primarily talking about life with God right now and going forward. This past Sunday, we continued our sermon series, Let There Be Joy. It's a series on the resurrection of Jesus. We've talked about how how hope was raised when Christ rose, how faith itself was raised when Christ rose. And this past Sunday, yesterday morning, I preached on how joy was raised when Christ rose. In John 15, verse 11, Jesus says, "I have said these things to you so that my joy may be in you and your joy may be complete." Yes, that's a joy, that's a promise for us for the future, but it's also a promise right here and right now. Jesus says in that passage, "I'm the vine, you're the branches. Abide in me as I abide in you. Abide in my love. Remain in me. Let my words remain in you. And if you do all of those things, if you keep close to me, then my joy will be in you." Not just in the future, but right here and right now. That's the good news from Sunday morning for today and the rest of the week. That the life of joy that Jesus gives to us is not just a promise for the future, it's a promise for today. Joy right now through Jesus. So what's the game plan for the week? Let the words of Jesus abide in you so that you may abide in him. Jesus says in John 15, verse 11, I have said these things to you so that my joy may be in you and your joy may be complete. Let those words abide in you this week. Read them every day, recite them every day throughout the day. Just let that promise of Jesus kind of soak into you so that you can just kind of soak into Jesus. That's the game plan for the week. I hope you have a great week.